Chapter 716, Bullets. Jebus, who had been about to explain the meaning of under the table, was caught off guard. We're putting in a lot of effort to keep the Carbonari in check and have made considerable headway. The School of Truth member chuckled at that. They're attempting to topple the government and create their own system. That's precisely the outcome we hope to see. Jenna thought Jebus's words didn't add up. But don't you aim to slowly seize control of the government through high society individuals like Morin Avigny? Jebus laughed and adopted an instructive tone. A wise merchant wouldn't risk everything on a single venture. The same principle applies to exceptional ambitionists. Hearing this, Lumion abruptly shifted the topic. From what you've described, ambitionists primarily enhance their bodies, perception, and spirituality. It doesn't appear to involve their intellect. Before Jebus could reply, Franca responded with a grin. Who says ambitionists require intelligence? It's not the same as being a conspirer. Ambitionists prioritize ambition over the capability to actually achieve it. Exceptional intelligence isn't a prerequisite for them. We've encountered many foolish ambitionists throughout history. The pair's back and forth left Jebus speechless. Fortunately, Lumion didn't dwell on the subject. He turned the conversation back to the Carbonari. Has Albert Goncourt already sided with you? Most likely, Jebus answered uncertainly. I don't handle the Carbonari. Was it because of you brokers that the Dreamseekers charity group formed ties with the Carbonari? Lumion thought of General Philip. Jebus grinned again. Philip was a man with grand aspirations who had long aimed to bring various secret organizations together. As brokers, shadow merchants, and ambitionists, we definitely had to help him. Regrettably, while his scheme was successful, others took advantage of him. He also disappeared in the ancient underground city. Incidentally, I'm not sure if you know, but it's actually Fourth Epoch Trier. You guys, Franca had a thought but kept it to herself. She merely sighed. Only then did Lumion inquire about under the table. What extra capabilities do you gain at Sequence 5? Jebus kept his eyes fixed on the two demonesses. Under the table is the sole ability, but there are two ways to utilize it. The first is to establish an unseen and tranquil under-the-table atmosphere in combat and emergency scenarios. You can forcibly meet your demands by offering the enemy valuable items, but you can't injure them or impact their state in any other way. Additionally, you must behave normally. If not, the enemy who agreed to the under-the-table deal can easily detect that something is amiss and snap out of it. Such under-the-table transactions aren't guaranteed to work. The target's inclination and experience in the gray domain determine the success rate. The broker sequence's gray perception ability can assess this. If you're up against an unshadowed of the sun pathway, success is nearly impossible even without the suppression of godhood. Unshadowed referred to the sun pathway sequence 4. Lumion had a realization. You previously made me release you through such an under-the-table transaction. Correct, Jebus said frankly. You have extensive experience with the gray domain and a strong inclination in that respect. On Lumion's behalf, Franca complimented Jebus, saying, You have a talent for reading people. Gray perception may be an ability acquired as a Sequence 9 broker, but it's incredibly useful, Jebus bragged, seeming objective. Jenna pressed, and the other under-the-table transaction. Jebus answered with a smile, That requires a certain amount of time. It's not suitable for combat or emergency situations. In simple terms, we'll utilize a barely sealed space as the operating target to create a genuine under-the-table scenario. We'll be on one side of the transaction under this table. The mysterious creature or dangerous entity concealed in the shadows and darkness will be on the other side, but we won't know their identity beforehand. We also won't be able to sense who the other party is during the transaction. It could be an entity we've previously dealt with or won from the unknown. Essentially, in this under-the-table state, where you don't know the counterparty or how your needs will be fulfilled through the transaction, you can achieve the desired result by stating your request and offering the item the other party desires. How this is accomplished isn't relevant. Can the transaction only involve two parties? Jenna asked inquisitively. Oh, it can be a three-way deal, a four-way deal, or even more. Just follow the under-the-table transaction rules. Jebus didn't hold back on sharing his mysticism knowledge. The transaction may not succeed either. It depends on the task's difficulty and the limitations of the provided traded items. Also, don't assume those mysterious creatures and dangerous entities will honor their promises. There's no lack of con artists among them who can find ways to circumvent under the table's restrictions. Are there additional risks after using under the table to complete a particularly challenging task? Jenna thought of her authority holder's under the table transaction. Jebus nodded gravely. Yes, it depends on which mysterious creature or dangerous entity helped you and if it has malicious intentions. I once had a week of misfortune and was almost caught by the purifiers. Jenna nodded pensively and pondered inwardly. It seems the authority holder's under-the-table transaction is a variant of the standard under-the-table ability. Instead of the counterparty making the requests, it's us offering something valuable. However, it can only simplify complex issues and ease difficult ones. It can't directly complete tasks. There are significant limitations. The cost of using it is encountering a transaction involving demons and other sinister beings. What information do you have about overseers? Lumion posed a new question when he noticed the under-the-table discussion was nearly over. Jebus appeared troubled and didn't answer. Seeing this, Lumion switched topics. What items are you carrying? Jebus glanced at Franca and took out a few assorted items from his concealed pocket. This is a healing agent obtained from the Great Mother's believers. These are the coma gas, awakening gas, and confession concoction acquired from the Mother Tree of Desire's followers. Healing agents, sedatives, mysticism-smelling salts, and truth serum. These are all precious items. Lumion gave a small nod at the 4 metal canisters with various labels. His gaze then moved to Jebus's other palm, where 6 bullets rested. The 6 bullets were brass, but their surface patterns and colors differed. One looked normal, one had a luminous tip, and one appeared to be corroded by potent acid. One flickered with a dark green light, one radiated a brilliant starlight, and another had a faint luster as if it had been matted many times. Jebus introduced them with enthusiasm. These are the impregnating bullet, poison bullet, putrid bullet, weakening bullet, implosion bullet, and deprivation bullet. I traded for them from various deity believers. Intrigued, Franca pointed at the ordinary bullet from a distance. Is this the impregnating bullet? Indeed, people and animals shot by it will inevitably become pregnant, and the corresponding symptoms will swiftly manifest, Jebus said, a tinge of fear in his voice. It affects both males and females indiscriminately, Franca inquired. Yes, Jebus said with certainty. Franca made a sound conveying a mix of contempt, fear, and fascination. Jenna asked worriedly, it looks like a regular bullet. What if there's a mix-up? Jebus shook his head. You won't make that mistake. It's lightweight, as if made of wood or soil. Phew, Lumion and Anthony let out a sigh of relief. Lumion pointed at the matte bullet. Is this the deprivation bullet? What does it do? The effects of the other bullets seemed straightforward, but Lumion wasn't sure about the deprivation bullet's purpose. Those struck or grazed by it will lose 1 beyonder power within 15 minutes. As for which one, it's unpredictable, Jebus answered honestly. This can complement a fate appropriator's abilities of designating the deprivation. Lumion appraised Jebus and asked, do you have any other items? As a shadow merchant, don't you possess any mystical objects? Jebus explained embarrassedly, I recently received the under-the-table boon. To complete the corresponding ritual and please truth, I traded all the items I had acquired, leaving only these. A merchant's rule is that you can buy and sell anything. Poor slab, Franca mocked disappointedly. She then said to Jebus, give us all these items. They're the very reason you've been repeatedly caught up in danger and deity-level conflicts. Hand them over and you'll be free. Once you're safe, you can start anew. Similar to Anthony's hypnotic words, Jebus chose to believe it and gave everything to Franca. After Franca stowed away the items, Lumion surveyed the area and asked, where is the School of Truth's headquarters? Which overseer do you report to? Hearing these 2 questions, Jenna, Franca, and Anthony quietly moved to Lumion's side. Jebus hesitated for a few seconds and was about to respond when his expression suddenly twisted. Seeing this, Lumion immediately said to Franca, tossed the figurine over. Franca followed suit. She took out the primordial demoness's bone figurine from her traveler's bag and threw it to Jebus. At the same time, she, Anthony, and Jenna grabbed Lumien's shoulders, arms, and other positions. In the next instant, the four of them disappeared. Boom! Jebus exploded from the inside out, his shattered flesh merging with the pale white fog, transforming into a peculiar blood mist. The blood fog slowly descended, circling the primordial demoness's bone figurine before seeping into the soil. After a few seconds, Lumien and the others teleported back.